As I noted in the previous entry of reinitiating Frozen Crown coverage here with respect to Call of the North and completing the album, an impulsive decision that I felt was quite warranted to not only the respect of other European-based metal credits I regard here, quite often in fact, a very favorable space if you've not yet been introduced, but with Frozen Crown's regard, one of the earlier entries here, and I'd not given them a full album survey, it was more so an exceptional basis I was doing it back then, where now it's become, it seems, more so mandated, especially with present album offerings from a number of other credits. Let's show them the respect they deserve, especially with an album that I return to quite often with those first 4 songs. Let's give them a full album ride. And if you humored that first song with me in a moment, you were reinitiated well, I think. That piece, still, every listen I've given it has been such a commanding number. As I told you, though, with circumstances unforeseen, we approached In a Moment from a reintroduction journey where I had, in fact, planned to do this, and there was, in fact, an entry in time where I had recognized In a Moment from a first impression witness, what I often do, and what you'll see in follow-up to this, that will come back. Unfortunately, those first encounters were compromised in their present condition, but we're returning now in a future perspective, so if you humor the fact that I'm covering this from a different angle of a reintroduction basis, it is in fact a contribution to our study of Frozen Crown's Call of the North, and one that still is quite welcoming, however we approach. Certainly for me, but any of you as well. I want to keep this a welcome mat to anyone of Frozen Crown familiarity and level, whether you happen to be a longtime fan developing, or like where I was a couple months ago, an initiate listener. If so, Italian-based metal, one of my earlier introductions into that alongside Volturian, another entry in the Frozen Crown family, with the later 2 entries, Nocturna and Be the Wolf, coming imminently. Nocturna, I think, the soonest. Anyway, power metal stylization primarily, and one again with such fierceness. In a Moment, which is beautiful. Again, to have a recap journey to 2 of my favorite standout pieces on the record, those being Fire in the Sky and Blackheart, in order, Blackheart especially. In a Moment was a great second helping. It was beautiful, in fact. It's still that vocal command on both Federico and Giada. Real power couple in the rock sphere, certainly. They are married in real life, but oh man, it's great to hear that association. Individually, especially the standout moments, whether it be Giada's reach or Federico's very capable, clean vocals, it's impressive. It was a great, ambitious number, quite dark on edge, familiarity on key, energetic, full of life. I loved it. Legion. Unlike In a Moment, I don't remember this one as much. Intentionally, I told you with In a Moment, and this is not to speak disparagingly of a number, I intentionally have strayed away from this, because, again, finding out about that error. I thought we would be, well and good after I'd done those encounters, and then I found out after the fact that, again, there was an audio glitch. So I've intentionally since stayed away from this piece so that going into it, we can have as fresh of an experience as possible. For me, a reminder, and I'm sure things will come back to me once I entertain this again, that presently, I forget about it. Although I knew I covered Legion, I forget the exact appearances this took, other than, again, there was a core of harshness on voice that is true to the evolution of Call of the North, whatever track considered. It'll be a fun reprisal journey, perhaps an introduction for you. For me, though, a great return. To be reminded of how Legion sounded and why I spoke of it admirably in that original encounter, I remember that. Let's discover why together in mutual parallel. I cover many artists, so some sensations are bound to escape me, at least in a specific regard, but on re-listens, I note numbers continuously. But any piece we take here in terms of first experiences is always quite a welcome retreat. Typically, again, first impression witnesses of where Frozen Crown generally was, other than these 2 exceptions of In a Moment and now Legion considered. But even reprisal journeys, especially to Call of the North, an album of such strength, still quite fun. Let's return to this through Legion and remind me again of this particular piece. I said it was harsh. I forgot how immediate. The key control is coming back, mixed with the riffs. Oh yeah, this one's hitting back. Well-mixed pauses too. Again, but the way they start up, it's just so assertive. And definitely brings again the harder power metal extremes. There's quite a variety within that in field, but from the numerous artists. This one really digs in though. But evident pacing. There we go. I remember this. The step downs on those final notes, like with shields, they're quite interesting again in direction of key. Because I could see opposite destinations considered. I love how her voice lingers on the dawn. Do you see again that light vibration effect in the transition? It's great, isn't it? I remember this. Oh, I love this section. That higher D mixes the notes chosen on an instrumental. I've never forgotten about that. First time witness, and now just a wonderful reminder with her vocals. Good tracking, though, tonally. Such a sufficient perspective here. Oh, I forgot about the break. Here we go. I respect how light that pause was. Again, it's unexpected. I like a fresh voice. It really is like a celebratory number, isn't it? Again, on the power metal extreme, I just love the choices with this one. Vocally, especially the intermixer score decision. It's great. I love how her voice vibrates like that. Direct window on accent, isn't that just cool? And there's many Italian metal artists that kind of follow in lockstep with that element, but really Giada's voice is just so striking. Every encounter I witness of it. Real scope on that one, and just the light little vocal echo in the background too to finish us off. It's such a good touch with that one. I forgot about the voice of that again on first entrance, but oh, I'm instantly reminded. And aren't you, in terms of Frozen Crown prowess, even if it's a first introduction for you on number? Oh, I think it's such a great one, isn't it? Beautiful entry on the album. Just that definition again on the key splice plus the energetic resolve, and just the forefront of aggressive edge to that one. Again, on opening, what's one of the first things that introduces you? That commanding riff with the pause on the O's, that change on presence. Wider vision with this one. Different feels and extremes of power metal hit quite well. Pacing, though, is highly effective. And the vocal stressing on Giada's side, I mean, it's more so a Giada in front role, though again, that last piece, it was a Giada and Federico harmony. You can still see him get fleshed out, I believe, on some of the vocal layers. Like, again, the intermeshing too between the two of them, it really is something nice. This one though, man, I just again love the register she hits and the way the notes are paced. Like that on any entry, I believe, of the particular verses, like Wrath in the Kingdom of Fear or Flashing the Blades in the Wind, it goes from a G to an F, where I could see some other artists choosing to go to perhaps an E flat to carry it along with where the key is going, to do an E mixed with a score. I thought added again such a real defined speciality to those notes. And, you know, it's something we've definitely seen other places with other artist decisions, but the touch on Legion, to add that effect in, especially considering the fantasy veneer of what they're employing, or fantastical, even I would say fantastical mythological veneer in a way with the facades of many Frozen Crown numbers. It blends perfectly in association on tone and on field of vision. I really respect the choice. But again, the witness that we get to take together of Giada's capability, isn't that just something remarkable with this number? I love the range on her voice. I love witnessing it. Even better, of course, with all of you in company. Legion has such a commanding presence to it. I really like its force on voice, and the chorus sections have always stood out. Like instantly when that went back in, like I knew in preparation we were going somewhere, and then immediately when she goes into this battle with the, I think it's a G, A, B sharp. Oh my gosh. It is, well, no, A sharp. Yeah. Yes. Anyway. You know, I've spoken before. I come from a music connoisseur's lens, as I call it. I'm not a musician by any means. I was several years ago for a 5-year piano episode of my life, but those years are far back. I try and pull from what I can and approximate where necessary, or pick up on what I've researched along the way, or what I've learned from all of you. Again, it's a step-by-step process in the space of getting into a greater depth with it, but music has been an appreciative art in my life for many years. Groups like Frozen Crown, I wish I'd discovered them sooner, but we're taking that dive now, better late than never, mutually. All of you in tow. However you approach it, I welcome anybody, whether you are a longtime fan or a fresh impression witness. I want you all to feel at home here exploring good art alongside me, and hopefully this can be a pitching of roots for you to discover artists that maybe you never knew about, or maybe ones you haven't, maybe you knew the name Frozen Crown but didn't dig any deeper than that, just on superficial awareness. But you are now, and maybe Legion was a first exposure. Though again, call in the North, I could say in preparation of what we will be entertaining the next 4 numbers and what we have in sessions past, generally is a great album that you should welcome in full if this is a first approach for you. But those chorus sections, at least on this album, those really stand out here. And there's other pieces where, again, that's been the same effect, but this one, I've never been able to forget about it. Even though, again, on entry I did, it's good that I took that pause, right? But I remember specifically the effect I had on witnessing that first. I was just taken aback completely. It's the key choices with the high hits on those Ds. Oh my gosh, her voice sounds, well, it's high D or the D or D sharp. Either of those. The way that verse evolves is so nice. Again, paired on vocals, it's just so transfixing. I love the effect of it. Plus, the Italian accent meshed in with those vibrations. They're light, but they're dominant. I mean, like light on presence and duration, but you still notice them immediately. That light warble to it, just such a nice effect. And it's something, as I said, you hear quite commonly in Italian metal, which is quite a welcome space. And I've heard many entries outside of the Frozen Crown family, of course, developing them later too in future sessions, but I've explored around with a number of other credits, notably, again, a fresh debut, some coming not so much, but others generally have been all fresh entrances. And they've all been quite great. I've seen the same effect employed differently with other types of vocal reaches and vocal personalities. Giada's really stands out in my mind. It always has since the beginning. I knew, all the way back to Volturian, within a heartbeat, that collaboration commanded a Frozen Crown deep dive, and we took that, at least on a good survey of works, now of a fully realized journey into the first ever album of Frozen Crown I've humored in full. And I'm going to go back and listen to those other entries, probably for myself in terms of their entirety, but I thought it'd be fun to take an album deep dive and give Frozen Crown as one of those earlier entrances into the European metal world with the same respect that I've given many other groups. Never been able to forget about the sensation I had on entry of Call of the North. And our continuation of Discovery commands that, even on reprisal, it means just as much. I love Legion, just like in a moment. Such a fierce voice on pace, energy. Love it. I hope you do too. Though I don't want to speak for you, I'll leave that determination of opinion up to you. If you wish, of course, declare it down below. And your point of approach, too. Longtime fan or initiate listener, what do you think? Commanding piece that intentionally, again, I paced away from, so that it could be a fresh reprisal journey, and I don't regret that in any way. To be reminded instantly of how much I loved it in the beginning, and how much I still do. It's a respectable work. The aptitude and strength of that number, vocally and on music, I love it. Immediate click for me. I hope it was for you too. With more opportunities considered for Frozen Crown, right, our journey is going to evolve from this point. But even just in our 2 reprisal phases of what was necessary based on, again, that whatever the technological error was with my equipment. Unforeseen. But I'm kind of glad to come back to it. Because, again, I can speak from a perspective of reverie. I really like it. Makes it even better, I think, for an enjoyment, too, on a reprisal. Enhanced numbers, but ones that, again, are just so striking in my memory. I know for most of you, I'm sure the same sentiment will apply. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.